What's up guys, today we are looking at the extremely environmentally conscious newest daily trainer or up-tempo trainer from Mizuno, the Wave Neo Wind. At the same time Mizuno released the Wave Neo Wind, they also released the Wave Neo Ultra. The Wave Neo Ultra is for longer, easier efforts. Much bigger stack, I see that. But go and check out that video if you're interested, because this video is all about the Wave Neo Wind. Now Mizuno has done something pretty great with all the sustainability practices they've used to make this shoe. But first things first, let's talk about price. You can buy the Mizuno Wave Neo Wind for $220. I will provide a link to it in the show notes below. Mizuno claims that a US men's size 9 tips the scale at 8.5 ounces or 241 grams. However, in my size, a US men's size 12, that weight increases to 11.2 ounces or 318 grams. And let me just tell you, this shoe rides a lot lighter and feels a lot faster than the weight would suggest. We do have 36 millimeters in the heel, 24 millimeters in the forefoot for a 12 millimeter drop. And I don't know if you can see it, but we do have a wave plate sandwiched in this midsole foam right here, but we'll get to that in just a second. The upper is a one-piece recycled polyester white vamp knit, and this knit upper has quite a bit of structure to it. Like, it's not one of those knit uppers that just kind of sags and falls to the side. It's actually being held up under its own power, I guess. But let's start at the top. Let's work our way down, tell you all about this shoe. Let's start with the heel collar. The heel collar has quite a bit of padding in kind of like a bolster format just below the lip. So when you put your heel into this shoe, that bolster grips you nicely right around the back of your heel. The heel counter is fairly firm, and by fairly firm, I mean like it's super firm. So it's really going to give you a lot of support when you put your foot in there. Still, because this is a one-piece kind of booty upper, if the shoes are too tight, it's going to be very difficult to get your foot in there. And boy, did I struggle putting this on before I loosened all the laces. And especially when I'm taking the shoes off, I have to make sure the laces are nice and loose so I can pull these off. Mizuno has included this beautifully placed recycled polyester pull tab, which is worth its weight in gold when you have a sock-like upper. It's very easy to just loop your finger and pull those shoes on. Now you notice the colorway. This is the only colorway that this shoe is going to come in, because this colorway is a feature of the shoe. This is undyed, so we're saving 100% of the water that would have previously been used in the water dyeing process. There is really no tongue to speak of because it's all one piece, but where the tongue would be, we have a recycled TPU badge right on the front. Oh, and hold on, I do want to tell you that for me, this shoe did not fit true to size. I first ordered a pair of 13s, which is what I usually wear in most brands, and I have also worn in other Mizuno shoes. However, I dropped down a whole size to a US men's size 12, and when I did, the Wave Neo Wind fit me like a glove. So just be careful. I would recommend at least dropping a half a size from what you normally wear. I found my usual size of 13 to just be a little long and a little wide in the toe box. There seemed to be a lot of volume right here. Oh, and full disclosure, Mizuno was kind enough to send me these shoes for the purpose of review. However, they're not going to get a chance to see this video before you do on YouTube. Now the laces are a recycled polyester, and we do have some recycled plastic reinforcing the eyelet chain on both sides. Now here's the thing with a knit upper, and I especially found it on the size 13, not so much when these shoes actually fit me, but when I put my foot in and I lock it down across the midfoot, I got a good midfoot lockdown. However, when the shoes were just a little big, I was noticing quite a bit of bunching in between the laces. And I think that's the best indication if your shoe is just a little too big for you when you have a knit upper. Of course, once I got the right size on my foot, I really didn't have that at all. If I really cinched them down to get a tight fit, I noticed a little bit of bunching, but it was nothing to put me off my running. It wasn't something that I would actually feel. These shoes are remarkably comfortable, and there is plenty of room in the toe box for your toes to move around. All in all, the fit is very pleasant. Let's come down to the midsole, because Mizuno is using two different midsole materials on the Wave Neo Wind. Now the upper part of the midsole, which you can see here above the wave plate on the heel, and then it comes down and it comprises of the entire forefoot area of the midsole, is Mizuno's Energy Light. And that is a plant-based midsole derived from castor beans. So again, castor beans, super sustainable, and it's definitely the way of the future when it comes to midsole materials. The bottom half of the midsole foam is Mizuno's regular Energy foam, and that is only in the heel. We can see it kind of taper down before the forefoot, and that's just going to be a little denser material. Now Mizuno has partnered with Bloom in order to make this Mizuno Energy foam, and Bloom utilizes algae to make their foams. And again, algae, super sustainable, so we're not using any petroleum-based products in our midsole foam. I love that. Sandwiched between the Mizuno Energy Light and the Mizuno Energy foam, we have the classic Mizuno wave plate. Again, this is a plant-based material. They do use castor beans in order to make this, and you can see the wave plate on both this lateral side and the medial side. And on the medial side especially, we can see that it kind of raises up just a little. It does the same thing on the lateral side, and that just creates a little bit of stability when you're rolling through your stride. Now the Wave Neo Wind is a neutral shoe, but this wave plate just gives a little bit of stabilizing properties to the shoe. Now you can't see it, but on the wave plate there is kind of honeycomb pattern that's right in the middle, and Mizuno claims that is for a snappier toe off. I can neither prove or disprove that that honeycomb pattern contributes to the snappy toe off, but I can tell you that this shoe does have a snappy toe off. So who am I to say if it's the honeycomb pattern in the wave plate or something else? Mizuno does include a removable sock liner, and again, they have partnered with Bloom, and I'm just noticing now that it is green like algae. So again, we have a sustainable sock liner. Okay, let's talk about ride. Now, I know I said this was a daily trainer, but for me, I like a daily trainer to be just a little softer than what this shoe rides. For me, this shoe feels like an up-tempo trainer every day of the week. In fact, I was quite surprised when I first put it on and went out for a run because I was expecting something just a little softer. From sitting here and pressing this foam, I was like, ooh, that's gonna be nice and soft. We've got the plate, it's gonna be a bit snappy. But this energy foam on the bottom is just quite firm. And then we have the lightweight G3 grippy rubber, which is actually quite a firm rubber. And I think that contributes to the feeling of the shoe being a little firm. However, what you get with firmness is a nice road feel. And I found that when I picked up the pace, when I started turning my legs over, the shoe felt really good. Now, of course, as I got used to it over the miles, over the weeks that I've been testing it, the shoe did seem to get a little softer. I don't want to say I broke it in. I don't know if that's really the case, but I did find the same thing happened with the Mizuno Rebellion. It felt quite firm in the beginning, and then the Mizuno Rebellion turned out to be one of my favorite shoes. So after I've put quite a few miles in this shoe, the shoe does not feel as firm as I remember it in the very beginning, but when I look back at my notes after my runs, I see that it is quite a bit firmer. And indeed, because I got both the Wave Neo Ultra and the Wave Neo Wind at the same time, the Wave Neo Wind is substantially stiffer than the Wave Neo Ultra. But they're two different shoes, made for different purposes, and not really comparable. However, if you like just a slightly firmer ride, it's not uncomfortably firm at all. It is a very comfortable ride with a smooth transition. We've got a nice smooth rocker geometry. The shoe just feels good at all speeds, but it really comes alive when you pick up the pace. In fact, when I first got these shoes, I thought what I really liked about them the most was how they were made. I just like wearing something that I know hasn't impacted the environment too much in a negative way. But what I found after wearing these shoes for a couple of weeks is that it's just a normal quality shoe that feels really good when I'm running fast. And I've taken it out for interval runs, I've taken it out for tempo runs, and it really does it all. When I'm running slow in the warm-up, I can feel that the shoe is wanting to go a little bit faster, and then when I pick up the pace, the shoe really comes alive. So really, if you want to save the environment, you want to do something environmentally responsible, you should think about getting the Wave Neo Wind. I've actually been very pleasantly surprised with this shoe. You know what, now would be a great time to give this video a thumbs up if you've been watching this far and liking it. And of course, if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. It just tells YouTube that this is a video that should be sent out to other people that might get some use from it. I think that pretty much covers everything about the shoe. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, this has been my review of Mizuno's Wave Neo Wind. Pretty solid option for all your running needs. Be kind, be happy, run well. See you in a couple of days.